Hi friends, welcome to this webinar on uh, the status of minorities in Bangladesh. Basically, we are going to talk about Bangladesh Hindu crisis, a global human rights concern. That's the subject of the webinar today. We have some very illustrious guests, and we have with us Mr. Pankaj Nath, Probir Kumar Sarker, Sigtangshu Guha. Rajesh Gogna ji is there. Dr. Vinay Nalva is also there. And as we'll move ahead, uh, this webinar is going to be there. This is more of a conversation to bring out certain aspects of this whole crisis, which actually we would also traverse through this issue and know that how whether this is just an immediate crisis which happened after the removal of or ouster of Sheikh Hasina government over the last 1 year, or has it escalated? It was always there because we have seen the population of Hindus in Bangladesh has gone down significantly even after Bangladesh was formed in 1971. So this is being organized by HRDI, Human Rights Defense International. I'll just give a brief introduction of HRDI, and then I'll move on to Shri Rajesh Gogna ji for the opening remarks. And HRDI was basically conceived, and HRDI was set up in 2005. So it has been almost 2 decades. And it basically, as the name itself shows, that it's basically about protecting it works for protecting the human rights of minorities within India also, and outside India also, especially the what you call the Indian diaspora and the Hindu population also as a minority. So it holds demonstrations, protests, webinars, create awareness about these issues. Uh, Often basically participate in international forums also. And Rajesh Gogna ji is the founder of HRDI, and he has been at the driving seat, and by profession, Rajesh ji is founder of a very prestigious law firm called Lex Locum, and in Delhi. And so the head office of the HRDI is also in New Delhi. And so I would I will be moderating this whole webinar. So my request to all the participants is that when one particular speaker is talking, so that at that time, if you can please be careful and unmute all the or you can basically mute yourself or your equipment so that there is no other sound which is coming. And before you want to speak, unmute yourself. And so. I will leave the floor now for Shri Rajesh ji. Rajesh ji, please your opening remarks on this issue. Why did you take up this issue? How do you look at it? And what is the expected outcome of this initiative which we have taken? So Rajesh ji, please.
Thank you very much, Arunji, and thank you very much to all the colleagues and human rights defenders from USA, UK, Sweden, and Bangladesh. More particularly, Mr. Pankaj Nath, who is the Member of Parliament, Mr. Probir Sarker, former Registrar of the Dhaka University, Sigtangshu ji. We know each other since long, participated in many demonstrations together, and Debashish is the soul behind this program, and Bikram Bannerjee from UK, and our friend Debashish, who we are from the trade union movement. He represents the tea plantation workers. So it's a very unique kind of gathering which is happening today with representative of the parliament, education, academia, workers, and international diaspora. So, and, why we thought of having this program? The thing is that it is not the first event of Human Rights Defense International about Bangladesh. It is, say, around seventh or eighth international conference which we used to have earlier in New Delhi, in which Mr. Sudhanshu has already participated. And so, Bangladesh, when we think about the Indian diaspora or about the Hindus or the religious minorities, so there are a few countries are always at the forefront. That is Pakistan, Afghanistan, Bangladesh, Bhutan, Sri Lanka, Malaysia. So where these are the countries where the identity crisis is always there with regard to the all religious minority, more particularly the Hindus. So we started our journey from Malaysia when the crisis of identity was happening over there. Then we shifted to Sri Lanka when the conflict between the Sinhalese and Buddhists was going on. And we supported the resistance because some of us believed that it was a conflict between the Buddhists and the Hindus population over there. Then in Pakistan, we are active since 2004, and a good network in Pakistan, Kharpurkar, Punjab, and all other districts where the Hindu population is existing. And in Bangladesh also, we are active since long. So why we are coming to Bangladesh again and again? And why Bangladesh is calling HRDI again and again to focus on the crisis which is brewing over there. So, sir, as the topic, my topic is this religious demography in decline, the human rights crisis of Bangladesh. We all know that when the partition had taken place, the Hindu made up nearly 30% of the population of the East Bengal. Then it was so called. And when the Bangladesh was created in 1971, the population had already dropped to 19%, from 30% to 19%. Normally, if it would have happened in any other country, it would have been called the ethnic cleansing kind of a thing. But anyway, 19%. And today, when we speak to our friends in Bangladesh, like Probir Kumar Sarker or Pankaj Nath, they say official population is around 8%. But some scholars say, some politicians say that it is less than 8% because most of the Hindus are now feel threatened of disclosing their identity. This threat of disclosing their identity is taking place in Bangladesh. So now it is not merely a demographic statistics. It is a human right emergency. What is happening in Bangladesh today is in fact a human right emergency. It tells the story of displacement, marginalization, and a slow erasure of a community that once formed a vibrant part of Bangladesh cultural and social fabric. So why it is happening over there? Because other friends would be focusing on it. But to my understanding that why it is happening, why this population decline is there, why the religious demography is changing, then to our understanding, the first and foremost is the targeted violence. Now we have seen the programs of 1964, 1971, 1992, and recent attacks on Hindus in 2013, 2016, 2021, 2023, and 2024. In all those attacks, the Hindu homes, temples, and villages were repeatedly attacked. And there was definitely political patronage, and the administrative silence was there. We have recently seen the violence when the Hindu temples were being burnt and vandalized. The police personnel were just standing over there. They were silently getting it done. So this is a kind of an administrative silence is there, and each wave of violence is followed by exodus. Because when you expose a particular minority community to a lot of violence, then what options do they have with us? And someone was telling me that in Bangladesh, if given the option, almost all the Hindus will opt to come to India. So if this kind of a threat a community is facing over in Bangladesh and are ready to exodus, then it is a question mark on the very existence of Bangladesh. And then they search for safety and dignity, and they come to India. When they come to India, then most of the Indians believe that all Bangladeshis are Muslims. But most of the Indians believe that there are no Hindus amongst the Bangladeshis who are coming to India. And recent that census which has taken place in Assam says that a large number of Hindus are also coming from Bangladesh to India. So when they come here, they come for the protection, for the dignity. And the recent amendment made by the Modi's government in the Amendment Act, they give a kind of a protection of Bangladeshis. So apart from this violence, what is going on there, now there is also a legal and institutional discrimination. We have known about this Vested Property Act, which was originally known as Enemy Property Act of 1965. Now a large number of properties of Hindus were seized because they were called the enemy's properties, enemy of the state. So loosely speaking, but the Hindu were always being termed as enemies of the state, and their properties were being confiscated. Later on, we know that this act was repealed, but the legacy of that act is still continuing. And I've seen the statistics that hundreds and thousands of Hindu families who lost their ancestral lands, homes, and temples are there in the court. And despite the repeal of the Act, Enemy Property Act or the Vested Property Act, they're not able to get back their properties. They're not able to get back their farms, their lands, their temples. So that is also an issue which needs to be addressed by the international community. And thirdly, that we must not ignore that the social and psychological atmosphere which is existing over there. When in the curriculum, in the schools, they teach that a mono-religious view of the history. So history is also mono-religious. And the media is silent about the minority issues. When the young girls from the minority community are abducted, converted, and married forcibly without consequence, and there is a climate of fear which is taking roots in Bangladesh. And this is an invisible violence that pushes the people to leave. Why should people leave? Earlier it used to be that the bombs were there. The bombs were falling, so people were leaving. Now a different kind of violence is taken place. They instill the fear in the minds of the minorities. And then people are automatically leaving the places. They're leaving their land, they're leaving their homes, they're leaving their temples. So it is now happening quite naturally over there. It has become the lifestyle of the Bangladesh. Now, what should be done about it? So, first of thing is that we must push for the recognition. Why we are Human Rights Defense International is organizing this seminar? Because the problem should be recognized. And the international community, including India, United Nations, and human rights bodies around the world, and the diaspora organizations, must call out this demographic shift for what it is, a result of religious persecution. Now, if we keep silent on this change of religious democracy, it's complicity, as it is normally called, that we should take sides, because being neutral, it gives encouragement to the oppressor. So there is no reason to be neutral in this matter. We should take side, and we know that our side is the Hindus of Bangladesh. Now, we believe that there should be social solidarity. The Hindu diaspora, the civil society of Bangladesh, and international human rights group must come together to create pressure, but also support and upliftment those who are living over there, the 8% of the Hindu population. What about their education? What about legal aid to them? What about their economic empowerment? I'm yet to know, because we are working over it, whether there is a reservation in the jobs, whether there is reservation in the educational institutions, whether sufficient economic upliftment programs are there or not. So that should be there. And education, economic empowerment, and media advocacy are the crucial tools, and we should focus on them. And finally, we must speak, not with the bitterness, but with resolve. It is not about shaming Bangladesh. In HRDI, we believe that we don't want to shame any country. We don't want to shame Pakistan. We don't want to shame Afghanistan or Bhutan or Sri Lanka. It is not about shaming any country. It's not about shaming Bangladesh. What we are concerned is saving Bangladesh from the dangerous trajectory. We don't want to shame them. We want to save them, saving Bangladesh from the dangerous trajectory, because when any country loses its diversity, it loses its soul. And the soul of Bengal, the soul of Bangladesh, the soul of that particular part of the world was always a diversity. Bengalis were never kind of a community which were Islamic and which were not tolerating the minorities. Now, let us conclude with the words of the great Bangladeshi poet Qazi Nazrul Islam, who once said, "We sing the song of equality. We sing the song of equality. There is no caste or creed. We are all children of the same motherland, same need." So let's hope that this vision of equality is not lost to the tides of hate. Let's raise our voice, not just for the Hindus of Bangladesh, but for the very idea of a world where diversity is strength and not a threat. Let this conference be not just a meeting of mind, but a call for conscience. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you, Arun.
Thank you, Rajesh ji. You have put things in right perspective and created a context. So now I would invite we have with us Mr. Pankaj Nath. Pankaj Nath ji is a member of Parliament from Bangladesh, and he is going to talk about Hindus in Bangladesh, the political marginalization, and the existential challenges they are facing. Pankaj ji, kindly, the floor is open for you.
Uh, Thank you, Mr. Moderator Arunji, distinguished panelists and participants in this web conference. Very good evening. First of all, I would like to thank the organizations, Human Rights Defense International, to arranging such a significant seminar or webinar or discussion on Bangladeshi Hindu crisis. Undoubtedly, during the last 1 year, what is happening in Bangladesh, the widespread communal attacks, atrocities, I think the magnitude of these atrocities is really appalling. So, of course, it's a concern of all human rights. So, that's why I thank you again as Human Rights Defense International, Delhi, for arranging such discussion meeting. And also thanks for allowing me to hear. What Mr. Rajesh was telling, really right, because in Bangladesh, religious minorities, especially Hindus, are facing a severe crisis. Following the political transition of August 2024, the fatal wave of widespread violence attacks more than 3,000 incidents like killing, rape, physical assault, causing major injury or attempt to murder, looting, land grabbing, extortions, torching on targeted Hindu houses, business places, and temples during this 1 year it happens. Unfortunately, this was happening under the cover or protection of the government, so-called Yunus, Professor Yunus, and done by BNP, the political activist BNP, Jamaat, and Islamic radical extremist. And the law enforcing agency was silent, keeps silent. They take no measure. So here is the thing. These political parties backed by government is doing these atrocities on minority. And these unending atrocities on Bangladesh Hindus consequencing their marginalizations. Friends, Hindus in Bangladesh are used to face significant political marginalization, characterized by a lack of proper political representation and engagement from major political parties, contributing to their demographic decline and civic erasure. This marginalizations is exacerbated by periods of intense communal violence, often fueled by political opportunism and digital misinformation, which targets Hindu homes and temples and leads to forced migration. While some attacks may appear to target specific political affiliations, the overall insecurity and historical persecutions of the Hindu minority are deeply rooted in Mediterranean politics and failure to address their specific needs. Yes, by this time, as Rajesh also mentioned, if I go for some points, say factors contributing to marginalizations, say historical factors, the legacy of 1971 or Liberation War, which includes targeted violence against Hindus and the subsequent erosion of secular principle, have contributed to their precarious status. Religious majoritarianism, a political culture that prioritizes the concern of the Muslim majority often leads to the political expendability of minority groups. The legal disposition, the Vested Property Act or Enemy Property Act has been a significant tool for land disposition and discrimination against Hindus, accelerating their immigration and civic erasure. Political instability, transitions between governments particularly during the shift in power, have often coincided the spikes in violence and attacks on Hindu communities. If I go for political invisibility, Hindu communities are often not prioritized in the political discourse of mainstream parties, which focus on the Muslim majority's interest, lack of representations. Despite a significant minority population, the number of Hindu representatives in parliament and other government bodies has been disproportionately low, limiting their ability to advocate for their rights. Recent trends, digital disinformation. What's happening since last 1 decade, so starting from Ramu to Nasirnagar, Sirhet, and Joshua also. In recent years, fabricated online content has been used to trigger riots and communal violences against Hindus. Since Nasirnagar, Ramu, or Norail, Sirhet, Rangpur, so everywhere is happening. Latest in Lalmoriat and also Rangpur is happening. That is, I think, ethnic cleansing. So that consequences is this. These factors have led to a steady demographic decline and forced migration of Hindu population from Bangladesh. Now, what to do? What is our call for action? Yes, with the Hindus, including Sigtangshu Guha in America, Hindu community leaders and groups are increasingly demanding the empowerment of minority. In which way? Say, proportionate appointment in all government sectors, such as in army. If you consider the percentage of army or appointment or recruitment, is less than 1%. Recruitment in army, appointment or recruitment, in army, police, administration, or judiciary, or financial sectors, educational institutes. By this, in the recruitment and appointment in all sectors, we can empower the minority. Minority Security Act. Yes, Special Minority Security Act can ensure the protection. After attacking on minority, none is getting, punishment. So, Special Minority Security Act can give protection to minority. Forming a minority commission. India have, US have the minority commission, but in Bangladesh you don't have. So to protect the land of temples and Devotar property, which is called Devotar property. This is the easy way to land grabbers to take this. So there must be a special law to protect the Devotar property. Also, finally, is popular demand the reserve minority seats in parliament. This can, I think, ensure the safety and rights. Reserve seats in parliament that can be. These are our demands for action. Now, I would like to conclude with some few lines. Say, I will not run through the article. Hence, I would like to conclude my speech, uttering few lines. So, continuous negligence to address the minority needs, silence and complicity, the state has become an enabler. Bangladesh now stands on a crossroad. It can choose to return to the secular, pluralistic ideals upon which it was founded, or it can follow the path that has already led other nations into religious apartheid and cultural extinction. The question today is not to whether minorities in Bangladesh are at risk. They are obviously at risk. The point is not whether, but how fast the minorities in Bangladesh will be erased. And the question for the world is, will it acknowledge the crisis only after these communities have vanished? The erasure of religious and ethnic minorities, especially Hindus in Bangladesh, is not accident, but it's deliberate. The international community, the human rights defenders and civil society must recognize that this is a battle for not just for minority rights, but for the soul and sustainability of the region of this subcontinent. So thank you all. You are Bangla. Thank you.
Thank you, Pankaj, for no, yeah, thank you, Pankaj, for bringing in this perspective. And now we have been joined, by Rajkumar Bhatia ji also, and we have been joined by Dr. Gautam Chakravarti from Berlin, Germany. Dr. Gautam Chakravarti is a professor, is a faculty in Germany, and is known for his I can say he's a giant of an intellectual. I know personally Dr. Chakravarti, and thank you, Dr. Chakravarti. And Rajkumar Bhatia ji has been one of the inspirational forces behind HRDI and a number of other social initiatives. So now I think I just want to check whether Mr. Salahuddin Shoaib Chaudhary has joined us.
Miss Jyotika Kalra is there. She is the member of the National Human Rights Commission of India. She has
Yeah,
also.
yeah, Jyotika ji has also joined us. And I think we'll move on now and we'll talk about, the status of Hindus in the academia in Bangladesh. It is happening there because the formation of Bangladesh, apart from the trenches, the battles was also fought on the campuses. But unfortunately, we have seen now different kind of battle is being fought on campuses in Bangladesh, where Hindus are at target. A number of academia people from academia were forced to resign post August 2024. So we have with us Mr. Probir Sarkar. I think he can throw some light on this. So he's a former registrar and the longest serving deputy registrar and secretary of the prestigious University of Dhaka. So Prabirji, if you can, share your thoughts about this and, bring in some facts and perspective, what is happening in the academia there?
Namaskar and good morning, good evening to all of you, all the panelists and actually who are listening to us. Thanks for the organizer who have invited me to talk over the topics. It is a very, I could say, best example that I have been appointed as a registrar of the University of Dhaka. It was back in 1947. There was a minority registrar, and before that in 1945, there was also another. And ever since this university established, we got only one vice chancellor, Professor R.C. Majumdar. It was at the beginning of the university, and all of us who are the panelists, we know this university has been established in 1st July 1921. And at the very beginning, it has 3 halls. One is Jagannath Hall, another is Solimullah Muslim Hall, and another is Dhaka Hall. And it has been set at that time regarding or considering the students who are come out from Jagannath College, they will be stay at Jagannath Hall, and the students after successful completions of their higher secondary levels who are from the Dhaka College, they will be at Dhaka Hall, and rest all the Muslim students will be stay at Solimullah Muslim Hall. So it is also very fortunate that we got a Pro-Vice Chancellor who was ever first appointed. He was Mr. Professor Shitesh Chandra Basar, and he was also first elected Dean of the university. And you already know that my friend, Mr. Pankaj Nath MP, he was also a student leader of the University of Dhaka, and he was elected General Secretary of Jagannath Hall Student Union. And another very prominent senior who is working well by sitting over America, he was also the ex-student of Jagannath Hall. Sigtangshu Guha Dada. I just recall all of them. Now, the situation, what is going on to the university level. For my university, say for an example, once we are considered that Jagannath Hall will not fulfill the quota of house tutor from the minority community, because the selection process was so poor from the minority community that they are not going to get appointment as a beginners, mean as a lecturer, assistant professor, or other post.
You are the
And
victim.
before 2009, it was on and around 50, almost 50 teacher from the minority community was situated at our university. But by this time, since after 2009 to present, mean before 5th August 2024, it is almost 150 plus teachers are now from the minority community now at Dhaka University. And for the other university also, for the Russia University, there were a pro-vice chancellor named Professor Anand Kumar Saha. Afterwards, he has been appointed as the vice chancellor in charge, and finally, government could not provide him full vice chancellorship. Rather than these two, there are another two vice chancellors from two different public universities. One, Professor Soumitra Shakur from the Kobi Nazrul University, and Professor Vishwajit Ghosh was the vice chancellor of Robindra Vishwavidyalaya. Other than this, another almost 5 to 6 or 7 vice chancellors who are from different private universities. So for the Dhaka University, in the total regime of Awami League led by Sheikh Hasina, there were a good numbers of minority teacher, officer and employees has been appointed. So for my instance, I had another 5 years to go. Mean I could go on up to 2029 for successful completion of my journey, but unfortunately I could not continue. For the academic arena of Bangladesh, for our time, my friend is here, he is also know, for every schools, basically for secondary schools, there were a Hindu Pandits who used to teach Hinduism or Hindu religion for the students of Hindu community. But after 1 or 2 decades, it is gradually decreasing, and nowadays in most schools, basically for cities, there are no minority teacher who used to teach Hinduism or Hindu religion for the Hindu students. For other instance, for the last 15 to 16 years, number of students from the minority community who are getting admissions in the university levels, it was gradually decreasing. So you know what happened after August 5th, 2024. My friend already has been discussed everything, what is going on to the country for the perspective of minorities. And here my suggestion, if a real democratic form of government who is really non-communal attitudes, if they come in powers and if they continues their rules in the country, then this problem can be solved, I think. So thank you very much. Thank you for all the panelists and who are listening us. And thanks once and again for the organizers who have invited me to talk something relating these matters. Thank you very much. Namaskar.
Thank you, Probirji, for sharing your thoughts. And now we'll move on quickly to the next thing. I just want to also, convey my deepest regards to all the panelists because they are sticking to the time limit. So we are, so I would expect, that we continue to stick to the time limits so that, it doesn't, because after a certain point of time, if it becomes too long, then it, starts dragging on its own. So it's better not to this thing, and everybody has been, cooperative on that front. So now we will have Mr. Sigtangshu Guha. Sigtangshu ji is a United States-based activist, and because he's in US and currently is joining us from, I believe, Sweden, because he's traveling there. So Sigtangshu ji would talk about broadly the existential challenges of Bangladesh religious minorities and the role of international community. So basically, what is international community, doing? And this becomes very significant because there was a lot of buzz when Yunus government came that it was actually the US deep state which had brought in this regime change. So there is clear cut, and then the Chinese presence is also there. So and Bangladesh has got very crucial strategic position. So Bangladesh has often become a pawn in the great games which powers play. So but as far as the existential threat on religious minorities is concerned, so what has been the response of international community? What international community can do? How we can, create more awareness about it? And so far, what is the buzz in international community about it? So, Sitanshu ji, please, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Arunji. Thank you, all the panelists. Thank you, Gogna ji and his organization. Thank you. Thanks everybody for having me here. Okay, actually, I was listening when I was listening to the other panelists who talked before me. I must thank Probir Shikdar. He was registered, as I understand that he was forced to resign, like a lot of teachers. More than I guess it is now almost thousands Hindu teachers were forced to resign. Sorry, Pravida, we are with you at this difficult time. Actually, when I hear human right violation and all these things, that makes me laugh because situation of Hindus in Bangladesh is not a human right situation anymore. It is existential threat. Hindus are on the verge of extinct in Bangladesh. So you have to first remember. So it is no longer a human rights situation because they don't majority of the majority people don't even think Hindus as human beings because on fifth grade in school there is a chapter there where they studied that Hindus are inferior than animals. Okay, I don't want to go that details, but Gognaji also talked about diversity. Where you find diversity in the so-called Muslim world, or when the Muslims are majority in any country, anywhere, where you find diversity, they simply don't believe in diversity. They believe in monolithic Islamic country. So, okay, Gognaji was talking about diversity. I'm saying, where do you see diversity in the Muslim world? When Muslims are majority, there is no diversity. It is they want Bangladesh to be a monolithic Islamic country, where Hindus or other religious minorities have no place. It will be like Pakistan. So, if you are to see Hindus in Bangladesh, please come to the sense. It is not human rights. It is existential threat. Okay. This is one thing. Pankaj, okay, he's more like my younger brother. So Pankaj also talked about last 1 year. It is, I don't want to discuss actually the atrocities, because it is everyday happening, and it is not happening just last 1 year. It is severe, but it is happening from 1975. No government ever did anything, that includes the government of Sheikh Hasina, did anything to stop this. Every government, administration, personally, one Sheikh Hasina may be good, but the administration is not good. Administration helped the perpetrators. I always say there is hundreds of thousands of deities and temples are destroyed in Bangladesh. Did any government take any action of that? No, absolutely no government take any actions. Pankaj talked about CSA, Cyber Security Act, or DSA, Digital Security Act. It was before. It was promulgated during Sheikh Hasina's period, and hundreds of Hindu boys and girls in jail in that law, because they use this law as a substitute to blasphemy law in Bangladesh. It is. I'm sorry. There are a lot of Hindus. Every day it is happening now in Bangladesh. There's insulting Islam, and they are using the CSA, Cyber Security Act, and put the victim in the jail. Unfortunately, that victim is always a Hindu. As I told, okay, Gognaji rightly told that it is the population. If you look at the dwindling population of Hindus from 1947 to 1970 to 2022, it now exactly Hindu population is 7.95%, and total minority population is something like 9%, 9.5%. But although we don't believe Bangladeshi census also, we cannot believe those Pakistan or Bangladesh census. Actually, Hindus in that region, we call Bangladesh now, are a forgotten people, and nobody cared about us. India and British are responsible for these miseries of Hindus in that zone. And I think India and British should come forward to solve this problem. We are suffering for their mistakes. When we are talking about international community, I mean the whole world now knows, civilized world now knows what is going on in Bangladesh. That includes India, but they prefer to be silent. And you talk about deep state and all these things, the same international equation. That is what is going on. America wants a place in that area. India don't want to give. All those tariffs and all these things come for only the same reasons. So I'm saying it is international. This is our part. We are able to let the international world know that Bangladeshi Hindus and non-Muslims are routinely persecuted unabated since last 54 years. So they know it, but will they talk? That's different. That is a different issue, and we can talk whole day about it. Even did India talk before? No. India just talking last 1 year. It is only talking. India is not courageous enough to take any action against this militant Islamist unionist government. Did India taking any action so far? No, nothing. India is just trying to do its business. We actually Hindus were looking after India, looking to India that they will rescue them. Unfortunately, it never happened. South Bloc is just talking and not taking any action in real. At this time, Bangladesh is becoming East Pakistan, a, a, a hub for the militant Islamists. And India knows that its seven sisters will be in threat in future. Even India is not taking any action, which is most unfortunate. To make seven sisters safe for all the time, India needs to think something realistic, along with the Hindus, because only Hindus can be safeguarding that region, as Bangladeshi Hindus are most friendly to India. India never did anything for Hindus in Bangladesh, and now it is time to revisit the whole scenario again. Don't forget that India freed Bangladesh and did not do anything for the Hindus then. Now it is the time to rectify that mistake and do something for the Hindus and as well as Bangladesh, for the Bangladeshi people. Thank you very much. Namaskar.
Thank you, sir. And now we have with us Debashish Devji. Debashish ji basically works with the Bangladesh tea workers, and he is one of the key organizers of Bangladesh Tea Workers Unity Council in Bangladesh. And as far as the data which I could see, there are, I think, more than 150,000 tea workers, Hindu tea workers primarily in Bangladesh, and Devashish ji would give probably the right kind of numbers, but this is what I could gather, and they are at the bottom of the ladder actually, and because they are an economically very impoverished, socially Hindus anyway are facing the brunt of Islamic radicalization in Bangladesh, and what you call the insensitive governments, successive governments over a period of time. But the worst situation is with Bangladesh probability workers. So he will speak in Hindi most likely, but once he finishes off his speech, I will probably reiterate a couple of points if needed. What he has said in English. So Debashish ji, please आप अपनी बात रखें.
नमस्कार टू एवरीवन, गुड इवनिंग। एक्चुअली मैं जिस बारे में बात करना चाहता हूँ आज, और आपने जो मुझे फ्लोर दिया, ये टी गार्डन लेबरों का जो सिचुएशन है, ये कुछ ऐसा नहीं कि 2024 की 5 अगस्त के बाद ऐसा हो गई है। हम लोग पहले से ही दिक्कत में था। हाँ, दिक्कत बढ़ गया है, ऐसे ही है। मैं थोड़ा पीछे जाना चाहता हूँ, क्योंकि अब 1854 में बांग्लादेश में पहली बागान, सॉरी उस टाइम का भारतवर्ष में पहला बागान था मालनीचरा टी गार्डन। उस टाइम से आज तक हमारा डेली सैलरी जस्ट 170 पर डे अब तक। तो मैं शुरू से बोलना चाहता हूँ कि जब ब्रिटिश आया टी गार्डन में, टी गार्डन बनाना चाहते थे उस टाइम उधर, तो उस टाइम लेबर का बहुत संकट था। तो सरदार और अर्का सरदार की थ्रू ये इंडिया की उड़ीसा और चंडीगढ़, इंडिया की बहुत जगह से गरीब फैमिली को टारगेट किया। उनको बोला कि उधर चलो, तुमको उधर पैसा मिलेगा, फैसिलिटीज मिलेगा, घर मिलेगा, सब कुछ मिलेगा। तो गिव मी ए सेकेंड। हाँ, तो ब्रिटिश के समय अरकती और सरदार एजेंट बिहार, झारखंड, उड़ीसा, छत्तीसगढ़ और बंगाली से लेबरों को सिलेट और आसाम ले आए, और लोग मान गए उस टाइम। अपना घर, मिट्टी, मंदिर छोड़कर उधर ट्रेन भर भर के चला आया। लेकिन सर के जगह इनको मिली जंगल, मलेरिया और कठिन मेहनत। उन्होंने जंगल काटा, टी गार्डन बनाई, इंडस्ट्री बनाई, लेकिन जब जमीन मांगने गए फिर जवाब मिले कि ये जमीन तो है कंपनी की। तो ये लेबर लोग उस टाइम ऑर्गेनाइज हुई और प्रोटेस्ट कर दी कि हम अपनी विल बैक टू आवर होम। तो ये 1921 में 20 मई में एक मार्च कर दी घर घर पे, उनका घर पूरी उनका घर पे। तो ये नेम्ड चांदपुर में इनको इनको रोक लिया गया। रोक लेकर ब्रिटिश पुलिस मोर देन 100 को किल कर दिया और उन लोगों को नदी में बहा दिया। इसके बाद लेबर फिर से टी गार्डन में चला आया। फिर जब 1971 वार हुई थी, 1971 का वार हुई थी, तब वो फाउंडिंग फादर बांग्लादेश की शेख मुजीबुर रहमान जी को ये टी गार्डन वर्कर को आंखों में आई। उस टाइम इनको तो लैंड की राइट नहीं मिली थी, बट शेख मुजीब जी ने इन लोगों को वो आइडेंटिटी कार्ड दी थी, वोट का अधिकार दिए थे। इसलिए मेजोरिटी ऑफ टी गार्डन वर्कर्स की वोट अभी भी उस टाइम से आज तक आवामी लीग को ही जाता है। यही दिक्कत बन गया जामत और बीएमपी के लिए करंट क्राइसिस जो है। बिकॉज ये जानते हैं कि ये अगर इलेक्शन हो जाए बांग्लादेश में, टी लेबर का 9 or 10 लाख पीपल डिडंट वांट टू केम फॉर वोट, आवामी लीग अगर नहीं आएगा। तो ये जो इनका दिक्कत है वो पहले से ही था कि 1854 से 2014 तक इनका सैलरी में जब चार्ज ली, इनका राइट से काम करना शुरू किया, तब तक 69 टका पर डे था। तो हम लोग आए, प्रोटेस्ट बनाया। प्रोटेस्ट बनाते बनाते 2023 में हम लोग 23 डेज का प्रोटेस्ट कर दी उधर। तब हमारा प्राइम मिनिस्टर था हमारा शेख हसीना जी। उन्होंने हमारा सैलरी एक बार में 50 टका बढ़ाया, 50 टका ग्रो कर दिया, तो 170 हुआ था। तो उस टाइम उन्होंने बोल भी रहा था कि हमको होम का राइट्स मिल जाएगा, पर ये 2024 का रेवोल्यूशन हो गया एंड ये भी हमारा हाथ से छूट गया। अब जो टी गार्डन में दिक्कत है, ये दिक्कत सबसे बड़ा दिक्कत है हमारा बहन मानो एवं एंड द ग्रोइंग लीडर्स एंड अपकमिंग फेसेस, इनको बहुत सारी मामला और फेक केसेस से जोड़ दिया गया। मैं ही एक बड़ा डेमो हूँ कि मैं उधर से उनको लीड कर रहा था इन फ्रंट से। मुझे मर्डर और मेनी ऑफ केसेस, मुझे एक सोचो लाइफ रिस्क था। मैं इधर इंडिया में आया हूँ, बट इंडिया में आकर असम में जो देख रहा हूँ, इधर का लेबर को जो राइट्स मिल रही है इंडिया गवर्नमेंट से, हमारा उधर कुछ भी नहीं है। मानो उधर का टी गार्डन एक लाइन रहती है, एक घर रहती है, उनको एक घर में पूरा परिवार रहती है, 2 रूम में, कोई बाथरूम फैसिलिटीज नहीं है, पानी का असुविधा है टी गार्डन में हर टाइम। इसका दिक्कत है। ये तो है, आपको जीने के लिए जो भी चीज रिक्वायरमेंट है यही नहीं मिल रहा है। तो सबसे बड़ा जो फेक पे थे टी गार्डन में मिल रहा है। वो जो मैनेजर है वो बंगला में ही बैठा रहता है और लेबर्स को, हिंदू लेबर्स को इधर ग्राउंड में काम करना पड़ता है। तो इधर इधर भी एक एक समथिंग वो जमात और बीएमपी ने जो किया है, टी गार्डन में तो मेजोरिटी 95% आर हिंदू। इधर भी मुस्लिम को उधर बरिशाल कुमिल्ला से ले आना गया, इधर टी गार्डन में घुसा दिया गया। इवन वो 5% मुस्लिम से अब टी गार्डन में इलेक्टेड यूपी मेंबर्स है, उधर का उपजिला का चेयरमैन बन चुकी है, बट हिंदू कोई लीडर्स को उधर से उठने ही नहीं दे रहा। अब आज के डेट में वो 2024 का 5 अगस्त के बाद बहुत सारी टी गार्डन का 10 मंथ 12 मंथ 1 साल करीब बहुत टी गार्डन का सैलरी ड्यू रह चुकी है। बट ये टी गार्डन वर्कर अगर जाए तो जाएंगे कहाँ? उनका लैंड राइट तो नहीं है कि बेच कर इधर चले आए। तो ये है दिक्कत। मैं शॉर्टली बोल दिया स्टोरी, मेरे हिंदी इतनी प्रॉपर भी नहीं है, और मैं ऑलरेडी आई सेंड ए राइटिंग रिपोर्ट टू दिब्बत अनैदा, ही विल एक्सप्लेन एवरीवन टू यू, एवरीवन। नमस्ते नमस्ते।
थैंक यू। जो है बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद देवाशीष जी। आई जस्ट for those who have an issue in terms of understanding it, basically he talked about the history that since 1854 the Hindus have been working there as tea workers. The Britishers had basically duped them by promising them a lot of wealth and land, but ultimately they picked up people from Odisha, Jharkhand, Bihar, so and other places, and then they took them there, and instead of giving them the land there, they got the tea gardens made and then made them basically kind of, bonded labors, you can say. That was the kind of situation. The situation has not improved much. There are hardly any good facilities there, and Debashish ji himself was, when he was working there, cases were slapped against him. He had to face a lot of state violence, and uh, traditionally, the tea workers have been the Awami League supporters, so they are bearing the brunt over the last 1 year, especially. And they've been Awami League supporters because it was Sheikh Mujibur Rahman who gave them the identity cards after 1971 war. So the situation is they don't have any option also. So there are about, if you count the overall family members, so about 1 million, Hindus uh, are getting, affected by the state of affairs in the tea gardens, and they're not even being allowed to get organized and seek the basics like, water, toilets, some education. Uh, the salaries have not been the compensation for the work which they do. It is pittance, and it has not changed, for several decades. So, thank you, Debashish ji, once again. And now we have with us Bikram Banerjee. Bikram Banerjee ji is Hindu is going to talk about the Hindu diaspora's voice about, what is happening in Bangladesh. The Bangladeshi there's a lot of Bangladeshi Hindu diaspora also, which is outside Bangladesh. And Bikramji is the national coordinator of Bengali Hindu Aadar Sangh. He's based out of United Kingdom. So Bikramji, please, the floor is yours. Please share your thoughts, and let us know some more facts about how the Bangladeshi Hindu diaspora is looking at this situation, and what is it able to do.
Namaste Anand ji, namaste बाकी कार्यकर्ताओं को और participants here. I'm not going to go into the detail of already previous speakers said what is happening. I'll go straight to what is actions happening in the diaspora as far as UK, Europe, and other part of the world is concerned. I think diaspora is becoming more and more active, increasingly active and assertive since 2021. Before that also, some of the time protest, engagement with politicians, creating narrative in the West was happening, but it became profound in 2021. First time in the London, collectively, the diaspora had 1,000+ people protest, and few other protests in the London opposite to Parliament, Bangladesh High Commission, etc., etc. And when the attack on Durga Puja happened. After that, again, it gone to the sleep mode, but a lot of network of organizations developed. In 2024, we have seen huge amount of assertive actions. Series of protests happen across the UK, Europe, US as well. A lot of the places happen, Australia, New Zealand, different strength, Canada as well. And not only the protests, I can talk about UK with more details. We did run a campaign with UK parliamentarian, and we also have meeting with UK parliamentarians. Protest happened 4 or 5 places. We did manage to get an appointment with UK Deputy Foreign Secretary Catherine West, 5 of us, representative of 5 different organizations. We met her, did the presentation. And at the moment, across the country, so far 5 places, Bengali Hindu Genocide Conference is happening. So I'll show you this book. Probably it is reverse order. You can see Bengali Hindu Genocide is available on Amazon. It's published by HAS UK, one of the Vichar Parivar organization for Bengali Hindus. And then we are having conferences where we are asking for MPs, councillors, politicians, opinion makers, wider community, black community, white community, Jew community, their representative to come, and we wanted to take these to different towns. Ultimate goal, there is a vision that we have in mind. We have to go to school, so some pilot project is happening that some school children and their parents, they will go and talk to their school, and we'll have a Hindu genocide exhibition. We created an exhibition content. In the school, there will be assembly talk. Politicians, we are going to engage in different towns, parliament, and eventually the Hindu genocide, starting with Bengali Hindu genocide. I'm very, very clear. I'm not using what the Bangladeshi Hindu genocide. Bangladesh is just born in 1971. But Hindu genocide and Bengali-speaking Hindu genocide started happening before partition. And we need to fight this battle, not as a political battle, not as a country-specific battle. This is the battle of Hindus, and Bengali-speaking Hindus is one of the many manifestations of the genocide which happened in Kashmir, etc. We have to be united as a Hindu, and all Hindus should support this Bengali Hindu genocide. Assam, Tripura, West Bengali Hindus needs to join hand, and Bangladeshi Hindus needs to come out of so-called this secular, pseudo-secular mindset and say, no, we don't want to talk about that, or we don't want Indian politician. If you want help from India, you must come out of all this fear. So there are work is going on. Our ultimate objective, at least in the UK, to have these conferences create the narrative that can be replicated in Europe, that can be replicated in US, Canada, Western world collectively. This could be a vehicle to create the narrative where the Holocaust is a household knowledge. The Hindu genocide should become household knowledge. And first test case of our first storytelling of that narrative would be Bengali Hindu genocide, not Bangladeshi Hindu genocide, but 1971, and what is happening today contextually is going to be the fact and canvas of that. Once that happened, in the UK, I already had an initial conversation with the Minister of Education in the UK, and it is a long game, but we must be able to include Hindu genocide as a subject in history and humanity. When we achieve that, we don't have to keep struggling to create narrative, because it will become household knowledge for generations in the West. And UK should be test case, and that could be expanded to other Western world. When that happens, then Western world support will create, because deep state can think about whatever may be, but the people here, in general, there could be racist people, but many people, they are very open-minded and ethical. When they have the knowledge, they will support the cause. We'll get enormous support. India also needs to do the same. And Indian government must proactively take more action. However, the battle should happen in the Bangladesh, which is on the ground. When we are fighting for our freedom struggle, there is no one to help us. There was no diaspora. There was no India-like country to support us. Our freedom fighters fought with knowing that there is no one to help. Bangladeshi Hindus should prepare themselves for that fight, and other minorities and so-called, if there is any Muslim communities, leaders who are more secular in true sense. And we, India, and the rest of the world need to join up. So we have a very specific role in the West. I cannot go and battle in Bangladesh to create this narrative, but we can work in the West to create the fundamental change in mindset by creating a fundamentally long-term narrative, by creating Hindu genocide as a household knowledge. That work is going on, long way to go. There is some plan is going on that first ever institution can be created, but it probably needs support of World Hindu Congress sort of organization to have a Bengali Hindu global conference. Maybe the first one will be in London, and then every 1 or 2 or 3 years, these conferences should happen. And that should not only talk about genocide or political problem or religious problem in Bangladesh or West Bengal. It should talk about how good we are in business, how good we are in the professional world, how good we are in our culture, our soft power, economics, and all other things. I believe there is a lot of momentum. Hindu awakening is the essence of solving this problem. This awakening as grow, all of this problem will happen, and we will not stop blaming, oh, Modi ji is not doing this thing. We don't need Modi ji to do this thing. We need to force, multiply these narratives so that mindset change and people create a pressure on politicians in different countries to do that. I will not take much more time. I will request, hopefully we will be connecting again for this global conference, and hopefully HRDI will be able to come and we will be able to create a long-term institution to take some actions on that, to create permanent narrative of Hindu genocide, Bengali Hindu genocide in particular.
Thank you, Kamji. You have, put it quite lucidly and aptly. And now we have with us Dr. Vinay Nalva. Dr. Nalva is an author and columnist, and she's based out of New Delhi, but she heads the Global Hindu Temple Network, USA's media and communication arm, as director communications. And she has written 2 books, and one of them, the last one was the dark history of Hindu oppression in Goa. So she has been tracking continuously, especially the temples, the way temples have been targeted, in Bangladesh. And one of her upcoming books is specifically on what you call the ethnic cleansing of Hindus in Bangladesh. So she has worked extensively on that. I'll invite Dr. Nalva to speak specifically on, temples of Bangladesh, how they have bore the brunt of the way the violence against Hindus. Dr. Nalva.
Namaste and greetings to my fellow panelists and everyone here. I'm grateful for this chance to join the discussion. I was listening to all the panelists and their concern and the kind of atrocities that are happening there. I think similarly, when we talk about Hindu persecution, we must remember our temples also, because they have always been the heart of our community, nurturing dharma, guiding generations. Basically, temples connect not only different communities, but generations also. And sadly, in every wave of persecution, be it political, be it religious, be it of social milieu, the temples have been the first to be attacked and demolished for being the collective spirit of people. And unfortunately, the soil of present-day Bangladesh has witnessed this tragedy for I think 8 centuries, from I will say Khilji to Khaleda. The time has moved, but the situation is getting worse. And when we see the historical part of Bangladesh, which was like, part of the Great Bengal, so we can start with the Bakhtiyar Khilji. He in, I think, 1203, he raised temples and built mosques. And then there was Shamsuddin Illa Shahi in 1350 and Sultan Yusuf Shah, who turned, I think, Shrinkhala Devi temple at Pandua into a mosque in 1477 it was. So, the persecution, the demolition of temples, the desecration, it started much before the independence or the identity of Bangladesh came into existence. And what we have seen during the, whatever we have read in the history, the expansion of Delhi Sultanate and the Bengal Sultanate, waves of iconoclasm swept across Bengal. So that took, numerous temples were raised, murtis were desecrated, sacred spaces were converted into mosques or left in ruins. So this was not accidental. It cannot be, but part of a deliberate campaign to weaken the foundations of Hindu society. We cannot, segregate temple destruction with anything else rather than discontinuation, trying to discontinue the the civilizational values and everything that is attached to it. Here I would like to quote in reference to Khilji. There was a Persian historical chronicle of Bengal. Its the name was Riyaz ul Salatin. It was written, Muhammad Bakhtiar swept the town with the broom of devastation, completely demolishing it, and founded a new city of Lakhnauti. He ruled over Bengal and strove to put in practice the ordinances of Muhammadan religion. During his reign, he engaged in demolishing temples and building mosques. Similarly, another, Kala Pahar, he was the 16th century Muslim journal of Bengal Sultanate. It is written in another chronicle. It's written, wherever the sound of his drums reached the hands and feet, the ears and the nose of idols worshipped by the Hindus fell off. Even today, stone idols with broken hands, feet, noses, and ears lie scattered across the land. This era witnessed a large-scale destruction of ancient temples, and mosques were built from the remains, just as we see in India. Many of the destroyed temples, they were used in the construction of mosques. And many historians, including Cunningham, Adler, Bangler, they have corroborated it. They have mentioned it very clearly that be it Adina Masjid, be it any other masjids in the Bengal or the present West Bengal, they have talked about seeing or finding idols trampled or built on the step, or somehow they are put in the steps of the masjids, so that any Muslims that comes for the namaz or for the masjid, that he has to trample on, he has to step on those idols. So it was never it was never a political that most of the communist or other organizations they talk about. And the reuse of temple remains in early Muslim architecture was a widely recognized practice. And in fact, when we talk about the oldest existing mosque of Zafar Khan Ghazi, it was likely a Vaishnava temple, and it was, I think, told by historian R.D. Banerjee. It had the Buddhism and Jainism remains also. So that was the period during the early, Khiljis and Bengal Sultanate and
Dr. Nalva, I just want to intervene a little bit. I think you have got max 2 minutes more because we have to end it up in time. Yeah.
Okay. And similarly, I think with the Mughal period also, Aurangzeb did the same. He not only enforced the demolition, but made sure that Hindus, they had to abandon the construction or the upkeep of the temples. Similarly, when we talk about Noakhali riots in 1946, many temples were destroyed on the sacred day of Eid al-Fitr. And temples were defiled, the idols were defiled with the, calf was slaughtered and threw on the idols or the temples. That is how they used to. And loot. There was temples and holy shrines within the households, they were looted and mutilated. So all this was happening. And even during the partition in 1947, the thousands of temples in Dhaka, Khulna, Barisal, and Noakhali, they were destroyed, completely destroyed. I think hardly you will find pre-Islamic temples in the Bangladesh, in the present Bangladesh. And this great, tragedy was repeated in 1971 also. The Pakistan army, they used the temples as a torture chambers. And when we talk about the modern time, I think independence, it achieved independence, but secularism was shed within few years, and Islam was adopted as a state religion. So the persecution of minority again came back to the fore. And we have seen in 1989-90, after the demolition of Babri structure in India, mobs in Bangladesh, they destroyed 500 temples in retaliation, and many people were killed in the rioting. Similarly happened in 2001, 2013. I mean, the data is filled with every year there used to be. desecration, rioting, killing of Hindus. It had continued till 25, when even when we cannot say that a year has passed without any attacks on temples or Hindus, or any conversion, forcible conversion has taken place. And when we talk about present scenario, so these assaults on sacred spaces, they show an unbroken cycle of persecution, which Hindus continue to endure. And we can ultimately say that from 1200 to 2025, the persecution has been consistent. The form has changed, but the intent remains the same: to erase Hindu identity by striking it at its most sacred symbols. I think the uncertainty of their survival mirrors the precarious situation of Hindus in Bangladesh today. Yet, I think despite centuries of desecration,
Dr. Nalva, I think we'll have to now wind up. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I'm
Thank
really,
you.
I
And
apologize.
now we have, Rajkumar Bhatia ji. He will deliver the vote of thanks, and then we'll wind up the discussion after that.
Arun, can we request Jyotika Karlaji, member, Human Rights Commission of India, to share a few words with us?
Okay, Jyotika ji.
I have heard, but I am not ready with any ideas right now.
Okay.
If I had some advance notice, I would have certainly shared.
Right. ठीक है, तो राज जी, please, Rajkumar Bhatia ji will deliver the vote of thanks.
Namaskar to all. I am happy that keeping alive its tradition of holding purposeful webinars or seminars, HRDI held an enlightening webinar today on a burning issue. I am happy that we could get 3 speakers from Bangladesh itself who told us about the different aspects of the issue. One from US, one from UK, and one learned speaker from India itself. So it was a very rich webinar content-wise. I'm happy that I have my friend from Germany also who is a participant here. Perhaps he was not supposed to speak. Jyotika ji has been asked at the 11th hour to speak, so she chose not to speak. But I think this webinar has been a wonderful exercise, and HRDI has done its duty very well. I thank all the speakers, and I thank all the participants who took part in this webinar. I understand that there is a time constraint. That is why Arun Anand is trying to close the thing within a time limit. So thank you all. Thank you very much.
So thank you once again. Thank you all, and we hope to continue on this journey. And we'll be holding more such webinars and also offline events also to create awareness about the existential crisis which Hindus of Bangladesh are facing. Thank you very much thank you very much everyone for joining us, and we'll be putting this out on YouTube also. Rajesh ji, anything you want to add?
I wanted to thank this Divya, because it would not have happened if he has not helped to us. He actively supported and contacted each and every speaker, and coordinated for everything. Thank you, Divya. Without you, it would not have happened. Thank you very much.
Thank you.